up, toy fans? This is Brock Lauer and
Kyle Walters.
and welcome to our 8th episode of Talking Toys. Actually, it's our celebrating our 1-year anniversary being on air and entertaining and informing you on toy news and activity this past year. So congratulations, my friend. We made it through 1 year of Talking Toys. And today's episode, we're talking about taking care of your collection and what makes a good toy store. Also, like cleaning, maintaining your collection, display options, lighting, how you arrange and present your collection. But first of all, we got to get you with updates. So lately, since our last show, we had a lot of updates happen. DC Collectibles released, remember that Arkham pack? They are now releasing single pack Batman animated series, Bane, Killer Croc, Poison Ivy, and Mr. Freeze. They all have interchangeable hands. Yes, finally, right? Everybody's wish list. So finally, DC's kind of shaping up there, giving us those figures individually with interchangeable hands. I don't know about heads, but with more accessories, it's more of a better price point for everybody. Kind of cherry pick your killers. I assume you like that idea?
I like it a lot. I figured they'd eventually do it. As much as I want to think it is, they listen to the fans and they really want to. At the end of the day, it comes down to the almighty dollar. Mondo, I'm enjoying their Batman animated line, so it'll be exciting to have their 6-inch counterparts, especially that Mr. Freeze looks nice because I have the other Mr. Freeze and I like it a lot, but that one looks, that's the OG, so I like that a lot.
Yeah, but you won't be getting a single carded Montoya. That's the only thing.
Oh, I forgot about her.
Yeah.
I guess that makes sense because they want to keep something exclusive about it. I forgot about her. I'm going to have to go on eBay and get her. And hopefully, knowing eBay, though, sometimes eBay is phenomenal. Other times, people are like, oh, $60 because she's exclusive. And it's like, she's not worth $60. What about you, my friend? Which one's your favorite? For me, it's a Mr. Freeze.
It has to be either Bane or Mr. Freeze. I really like those characters, how they're portrayed. But definitely one of those. And I'm definitely gonna get Poison Ivy, and I'm definitely gonna maybe Killer Croc. I like the one I have, but the other one's pretty cool too. So I'm definitely probably gonna get all or most of them. So I'm really excited. Hot Toys had new releases for Avengers Endgame. New Thanos with weapon and armor with his Infinity Gauntlet. I believe it lights up. War Machine, he'll have interchangeable heads and hands.
Oh, that's pretty cool with the light up Infinity. That's a nice touch.
Yeah.
And it's going to be quality because Hot Toys produces a lot of quality.
Yeah, and then War Machine will have interchangeable heads and hands. You'll get a new Nebula figure, a new cap. He has like a dirty shield.
Well, that's exciting.
Yeah, he has like the feathery armor, kind of like that. Or not armor, his suit.
Is it the shield he had in the Battle of Wakanda?
No, it's just like
it's a newer shield.
It's a newer. I don't know if it's newer, but if it's like a regular shield, but it just has dirt on it. You also get Iron Man Mark 85 with Tony Stark head. He'll also have removable chest armor. He'll have like also those wings, like those galactic wings that look like the space thing. So he'll have that. Pretty much similar from the Infinity War one. Pretty similar to that. You'll get a new Rocket Raccoon one with goggles, a new Ant-Man figure. New Captain Marvel Hot Toys figure with effects. New Ronin with head and hands. But there's two different kinds. There's a regular version and a deluxe version. And the regular version is just Hawkeye with his getup. And the deluxe version is like him as Ronin, pretty much. But only he has the hood and everything. Like he has the hood and he also has throwing stars and the sword and the bow. Now the regular version will cost $242. And then the hooded version will be $272. Which I don't get. Like, you make an exclusive, version, and it just has, 2 new things. That just kind of rubs me the wrong way. Just make one figure with everything.
Anything for money but work. I'll have to see some more stock images, but that Thanos, you know me, I'm a sucker for LEDs, especially when they're done correctly.
Well, that's the Thanos you want.
And it looks...
Classic Thanos. But then again, the one with the chair is really cool, too.
Oh, yeah.
Guardians of the Galaxy.
I thought about that one, but then it's just most people waited.
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited about it.
Yeah. And there's rumors, or whatever's rumors, but it's said by Hot Toys they're making a Hot Toys Shazam figure, which I just saw the movie and was phenomenal, by the way. I liked it more than Captain Marvel, which I can't say with a lot of DC movies, but I really enjoyed the Shazam movie. You obviously like any other figures you like besides Thanos? At this point, they're all pretty much the same figure.
You mean pertaining to Hot Toys, or?
Yeah.
Nothing I can really think of off the top of my head. I'm excited to see what Sideshow does, because Sideshow is the main person that carries Hot Toys in the U.S.
Mm-hmm.
and they sometimes release their own figures like that, and they've done a Lobo in the past, Harley Quinn, Joker. So I'm excited to see what they come out in the future. I'll have to check out their website.
Yeah.
But Thanos would be the main one. I definitely want to get some DC ones, but because they did a really, really cool Jack Nicholson Joker.
Mm-hmm.
I need to eventually get a Tony Stark to put in front of my Hot Toys Igor armor. But for me, I don't think any Hot Toy. It would take something special to top the awesome Groot and Rocket 2-pack that you've seen that I have.
Yeah.
That thing is it was a fair price point too, because it even came with the baby Groot, all that for like $275. Like, I can't pass that up.
Right. And SH Figure Arts is getting in the game with Endgame. Getting into the Endgame, I guess you could say. And they will be releasing a Thanos figure, a War Machine with additional guns and blast effects figure, Ant-Man, Black Widow, Captain America, Ronan with the sword, Iron Man, and that should be the whole SH Figure Arts wave. I know you're a big SH Figure Arts guy, Kyle.
Love them.
Typical price is $58 per figure, but for Thanos will be $85 for him. What are you looking at for SH Figure Arts?
I'm 100% getting the Thanos because you saw my Figure Arts Thanos with the other one. I thought it was amazing, and I'm surprised not a single YouTuber that I listened to put that in their top 10 because I thought the figure was just incredible. SH Figure Arts is wonderful. A lot of them retain their value, especially with like the Dragon Ball line that I collect. The only thing that is ever disappointing is if they have it as like, because SH Figure Arts is from Bandai. It used to be Bandai Tamashii Nations. Now they rebranded themselves as Bandai Spirits. I don't know why, because Tamashii translates from Japanese to English as spirits. Yeah. So instead of Bandai Spirits Nation, now it's just Bandai Spirits. I don't know. I don't get it. Anyways, the only thing I don't like about those figure arts from Bandai is sometimes with their price points, like for example, the Nebula is a Japanese exclusive. So right now Nebula's retailing for like $114 to $119. Yeah. Which I don't think is a fair price for a Nebula. I mean, it's Nebula. Nebula's cool, but it's like, come on. Or just like the Yoda I showed you, which comes with a ton of accessories. But that Yoda is also about $114, and it's like, for a little bit more, you can get a Hot Toys Yoda. So why would I pay that for a 6-inch Yoda? Yeah. Despite all the cool accessories. But I'm 100% getting that Thanos. I need his Endgame counterpart because I thoroughly enjoyed the other Thanos. So yeah, gotta have his brother from another mother.
They did like the wave for SH Figure Arts. How I wish Marvel Legends did their wave. Like I want for Marvel Legends, like SH Figure Arts is doing all the figures. I assume Marvel Legends will do in the like next Avengers wave, do the Black Widow with like the red hair, and then do Captain America in his final appearance of that costume he's in, and maybe like do a Hulk, and maybe do like, I mean not necessarily an Ant-Man, but like maybe another Hawkeye, or I would like another War Machine, like one more War Machine, especially for the movie coming up. So I hope they do that. I mean, I hope Marvel Legends falls in suit with doing exactly what SH Figure Arts did. But I will say, if you're an SH Figure Arts fan, those figures look clean, and they're really stepping up their game lately. So
I've enjoyed like even their quote unquote like subpar figures, like from Dragon Ball Z, they did a Go Tanks. I still enjoyed it because it still came with, they come with effects. A lot of times they come with stands. Yeah. Lots of interchangeable parts, interchangeable face plates, like. Right. Even their worst figure, they still do a lot of good things well. But I do agree, like, I still thoroughly enjoy collecting Marvel Legends, even though I collect imports. And I'm hoping Hasbro will continue to do what they've been doing, because they've been doing a lot of good things.
Yeah. And speaking of Hasbro Marvel Legends, we didn't get to talk about this last time because it kind of released between two of our shows. But the Black Widow and Hawkeye Quantum Suit 2-packs are out in stores now. We didn't get to talk about that before. Or maybe we did. That'll have a Nebula, Iron Man, and Ant-Man head, which you could switch around. And then if you get the 2-pack and a couple times, you could get the whole team, which I'm not totally crazy or sold on. Like, I'm kind of halfway there with those figures.
I respect Hasbro, though, for doing that. Plus, they know it'll make them more money just by throwing a couple extra heads in there. And one thing I thought that was really cool is I was watching Talker Art on YouTube. I really like his channel a lot because he's an honest dude. And he showed how even if you want to save a little bit of money, you can even get the Captain America body from that wave for like an $18 or $20 price point, and you can just put the heads on there. I do agree with you though. I'm not
I'm
I'm
not.
not 100% sold.
Well, it's just that the gray don't look terrible, but it's like it's supposed to be white, and it's like I don't see why Hasbro couldn't have access. I don't see how Hasbro couldn't have access to the art, the final product of the art. I mean, I know they were probably like thinking about like, oh, it's gonna be gray, but it's actually gonna be white, and then I just wish they had like the final product in their hands before they release these figures so it could look more movie accurate. But speaking of which, the Endgame Wave 1, I don't know if we talked about it last time, but will feature Ebony Maw, Quantum Cap in his suit from the movie, Hercules, Ronin from the movie, Living Laser, Nighthawk, and Citizen V. Citizen V, Nighthawk, and Living Laser are comic figures, and also has the movie Build-A-Figure Thanos armor, which doesn't look. The Build-A-Figure Thanos looks like it could be better, so I feel like they're gonna make a better version. However, that Build-A-Figure Thanos does not have ankle pivot, which I don't get that with Hasbro. They like pick and choose their articulation lately with a lot of their figures. Like I just bought the Captain Marvel Legend. She doesn't have double jointed elbow. She only has a single jointed, but a Thanos where he doesn't have ankle pivot. So it's like they choose articulation with certain figures. I mean, I'm sure it's a money thing or a budget thing, but it's like it's kind of aggravating because you're like, Captain Marvel's like a figure for me. Like I'd like to put in interesting poses, and minus the double jointed elbows, she doesn't have. But however, in the Black Widow Quantum Realm 2-pack with Hawkeye, Black Widow has the double jointed elbows. So, I mean, I don't know. They just seem to do that once in a while.
It's weird to me because there's some companies, like for example, you and I both really like a lot of the stuff Diamond Select is doing, and pertaining to their Marvel Select line, because Hasbro, I'm not an expert on licensing, but they talked about how, because Hasbro has, the Marvel Legends,
Mm-hmm.
and they have the Marvel Select, they are limited in their articulation. So there's sometimes pertaining to their Marvel Select line where I'm like, okay, I understand why, why maybe like there was a really cool Hawkeye figure that was Disney Store exclusive,
Mm-hmm.
and it was tough for him to pull back on the bow.
Yeah.
Which on the one hand it's oversight, but on the other hand, on their part, but on the other hand, it's like, okay, I get it because you're limited in articulation there. Whereas, like, on the other hand, they're coming out with Bruce Lee figures. And my one stepbrother's a huge Bruce Lee fan, and they're allowed heck of a lot more articulation because, other than them, no American company that I know of is doing Bruce Lee figures. It's only Japanese import companies.
Yeah.
So it's just, I do agree with you. Like, I want double jointed elbows on female figures.
Right.
Like for every female figure. In the same way that their male counterparts have it, because then you can get more dynamic posability. You can, if it's Black Widow, she can, hold her guns, I guess, cooler. I don't know if cooler or better. Yeah, sometimes I agree. It is frustrating. And what I do think they're going to do is I truly believe it'll be like the 3-pack you bought, where the first Thanos looked like Grimace.
Yeah.
And then the second Thanos, while I still think my SH Figure Arts one is a lot better, it's like they improved it. It's like they looked at him and they're like, oh, he looks like, a swollen raisin.
Right.
Now he looks like, I can't think of his name, but the actual actor who plays him.
Yeah. Josh Brolin.
Yeah, that's it, Josh
Yeah,
Brolin.
but yeah, I mean, I don't know. We'll see.
They do a lot of cool things, but it's like sometimes you gotta
take what you can get.
Yeah, sometimes you gotta just nitpick and be like,
yeah,
so close but so far away.
So Star Wars had their celebration in Chicago this past weekend.
It wasn't in Florida this year?
No, it was in Chicago.
Oh.
Yeah, I think it was in the same venue as they have C2E2, but I'm not 100% sure.
Oh, that's cool. I did not know that.
So they had a bunch of releases for Star Wars The Black Series. They also released the new Star Wars movie trailer and title called Star Wars Episode 9. Well, it's not Episode 9. Well, it is, but they're not calling it that. But Star Wars Rise of Skywalker. And the trailer came out this past week. I wasn't that excited. I don't know. I don't know if it's Star Wars fatigue or it's just the way the studio's taken this franchise, but I found it a bit lackluster and I just didn't get excited or was amazed by the trailer even after I watched it.
we'll be seeing it though. But it's
We'll
just,
see it, yeah,
but
no,
it's just,
no doubt.
I do agree that like the only thing, I mean, okay, spoiler alert if you haven't seen it since it's
Yeah,
been released, but Palpatine laughs at the end, and even with that, my first thought was, okay, like,
yeah.
maybe it's because Solo was bad and their last episode
Well, they brought Darth Maul back.
was not cool. The only
Spoiler for Solo, but
that was the only cool thing about Solo was they brought Darth Maul back,
I'm,
and then I liked.
I didn't really.
I can't remember her name, but I kind of a little liked who Daenerys played. I liked how after with pertaining to Darth Maul,
Hmm.
but at the same time, the movie overall was just like you'd made a Han Solo movie disappointing.
It's just like, well, I'm sorry, you're bringing back a bad guy who got cut in half and fell down an elevator shaft, and then now you want to bring back another bad guy, possibly, who fell down an elevator shaft and also got vaporized in the process. I mean, it's just like this franchise, this trilogy. I'm not saying the franchise, but this trilogy seems without George Lucas is just riding on nostalgia and just like, oh, remember that? Oh, look at this. I mean, it's like it's just getting lackluster for me, and I just don't think creatively it's a good idea.
I see. I do agree with you. The funny thing is, I think the reason I liked the one that J.J. Abrams did so much,
Yeah.
as much as I may not want to admit it, it had little things, little moments I really liked about it, but it was very similar to episode 4, and that's probably why I enjoyed it so much because
That's why I didn't.
the one after that,
That's why I didn't. So.
the one after that was just watching it. I was like, how is this? How did critics like it? It's just boring, and they killed Snoke so easily.
Yeah, for Last Jedi, and it was just like I don't know. For me, it's like I didn't like Force Awakens, but I liked Last Jedi a little bit better. But I'm not saying Last Jedi is great, and I thought the Force Awakens was better directed than the Last Jedi. Anywho, we could debate this till the cows come home. But speaking of Palpatine and the trailer, you are also getting a new 6-inch Black Series Palpatine. He's in the chair that he sits in the Return of the Jedi. He has 2 interchangeable heads and will have lightning effects. He will be Amazon exclusive. What do you think, Kyle?
Amazing.
Yeah.
I have the other one, and I really, I know I'm in the minority here, but I like the other one.
Mm-hmm.
But now he's useless.
Yeah.
The only thing different, because all I have to do now if I want to is, the only thing different is the original one comes with a cane, but it's like, who cares? But this new one, they even have it looked like the face even from when like Darth Vader zaps him and stuff, and like, it was really, really well executed.
Yeah.
I love Star Wars, but I pick and choose the figures.
Mm-hmm.
But Hasbro, man, they've been killing it lately with that. And then import companies have been releasing images of Grievous like SH Figure Arts for years. And Hasbro pulled the plug. And it's nice to get a 6-inch Grievous because before that, it was that Disney Elite series had a Grievous. But I watched a review from Glenn Webb, RIP, and he showed that the Grievous couldn't stand up because it was so heavy, even while being on the stand. So it's nice to get a fun General Grievous figure because I like General Grievous. I guess in the cartoons like Rebels and stuff, I guess he's even better because I'd love to find out even more about Grievous and more about Thrawn because one of my co-managers at work is a huge Admiral Thrawn fan, but he likes him better from the books compared to what Rebels offered for him. But yeah, you finally got the Palpatine figure you wanted.
Yeah, I waited. I didn't get the last Palpatine Black Series made, and I'm glad I waited and I waited, and I did not expect it to be this good, especially with the char. I thought he'd down the road get lightning effects, but I'm very happy that.
That's all I thought too. I thought they were gonna be like, "Well, here's your reissue."
Yeah.
I thought they were gonna do like lately. I think it's really cool what they've been doing with the vintage wave and whatnot. But I thought that was just gonna be it, and they were gonna like throw in like the effect they gave to that one Thor pack you got.
Yeah.
And which would have been cool regardless. But then now when I saw this release, everyone was like nerding out over it. The only thing I have to gripe about it is the fact I feel like they'll meet the demand well, but it still kind of sucks that it's an Amazon exclusive and I can't find it in a Target because
I thought it was going to be part of that archive wave where they just reissue the old figure, which is kind of almost that, but it's not.
I will say I am really excited about because you and I both loved the GameStop exclusive Snoke.
Yeah.
And then I found the Kylo Ren base thing really really cheap for like $15 at Walmart.
Yeah.
And I purposely bought it just for the base.
Yeah.
So I have his throne even further extended, and I like that Hasbro did that kind of, I guess you could call it playability.
Yeah.
So far, Hasbro's released, or they're going to release 2 of the coolest figures of the year, that Palpatine, and then what we talked about on one of our previous episodes, the 3-pack with the Magneto, Scarlet Witch, and Quicksilver.
Also, other releases were the Walgreens exclusive Obi-Wan and Clone Armor, 6-inch. Archive figures such as Anakin, Darth Maul, Yoda, Return of the Jedi Scout Trooper. They also released a Luke Skywalker life-size helmet you could wear, part of the prop cosplay thing they usually have with Marvel, such as Iron Man's helmet or Cap's shield. It's very similar, but they're doing it with Luke's life-size helmet. They also showed the wave of Obi-Wan, Chopper, Ezra, Dr. Aphra, 000, and BT1 as well. They also released Galaxy's Edge Disney Store exclusive packs, such as, and this one will feature the droids C-3PO, BB-8, R2, DJ-R3X, also the Smuggler's Run 3-pack, Hondo, Rey, and Chewie, and also the First Order 3-pack, which is kind of like a 4-pack almost. They'll have a Mouse Droid, Kylo Ren, Mountain Trooper, and Commander Pre, which is like a golden looking stormtrooper. They also released this 6-inch version of retro-style prototype Darth Vader, which is rainbow. They look like rainbow Darth Vaders. Those will be San Diego Comic-Con exclusives, 3 different versions. San Diego Comic-Con exclusive, also 6-inch rocket-firing Boba Fett.
Yes,
You really
I'm
want that.
so excited about that.
And also,
it just is a bummer that it's an SCCC exclusive, which means I'm gonna have to pay an arm and a leg because everyone's gonna want that.
That one's gonna be a hard one to get. That one's definitely gonna be a hard one.
That's gonna be one of those ones where I'll admit it, I paid like $193 for the first SH Figure Arts, or like $180, something like that, after it was released, and money well spent. But so I'm hoping the Boba Fett's not that much. I feel like for me, a max price for that would probably be like, if I had to, 60 to 80.
Yeah.
I'd love to say I could get it for 20, but it's unlikely.
I'm not really. I think they're also. I mean, the Disney Store exclusives are. It's just like I'm not interested in any of those packs really. Not so much as not the Droid one, not the First Order pack, and not the Smuggler's Run 3-pack. Those don't interest me. Vintage 3.75 inch Luke 3-pack. One when he's a stormtrooper, one when he's in his like orange pilot uniform, and one when he's like a Jedi Knight in Return of the Jedi.
Why couldn't that be 6-inch?
Right, and I mean, it's just like I don't know. A lot didn't interest me except for the Palpatine, and I mean, I know they're going back towards like the older movies that interest people. I think the prototype.
Let you get Jar Jar Binks.
I'm surprised they haven't done him yet, but it's just like I'm very picky, but it's like I like some of the older stuff now more than I like. And Hasbro did say they're actually making figures from the Mandalorian series that's going to be on Disney Plus. There are going to be Episode 9 figures as well. They just didn't show any of that.
I'm definitely interested in. I don't know. I obviously with school and working full time, I haven't had the opportunity because I did watch. The last thing I watched was I binge watched the Castlevania anime series on Netflix, and that was great.
Yeah.
But I also would like to eventually watch Clone Wars and Rebels because I like that Chopper figure. He looks cool. I like that they included him with a blast. I thought that was
that is cool.
That was something. I thought that was something really nice that Hasbro did.
Yeah,
I like how they're incorporating all avenues for Star Wars. Like they've done Thrawn, and they're doing like Chopper, and then they'll do a Grievous and a Vader. Like I like how they're not just limiting themselves to like. Because obviously they know something like a Vader is going to be very popular or Grievous, but then I also like how they're like, you know what, let's give the Rebels fans some things, or let's try something less popular, and I like that.
Yeah. Did any of the 3-packs or the prototype Darth Vaders that were rainbow looking, or the Walgreens exclusive Obi-Wan clone armor interest you? Any of those?
No.
Yeah,
just the rocket firing Boba Fett.
Yeah, that was
the
cool.
Palpatine, and I'm on the fence. But last time when you and I went to the Disney store, the Elite series is just not in scale.
Yeah.
But I still am slightly interested in that Jabba's barge R2D2. That looks really well made. That'd be a nice coffee table piece.
Yeah. So that's Star Wars for you, folks. I mean, obviously, take it wherever you want. Was it good? Was it bad? The figure reveals. I thought there was some good things in there. I mean, I think Hasbro's kind of they have to like control what they have because the people. I think their sales are down with Star Wars because a lot of it has been I've seen in the toy aisle unmoving, clearance, discounted, and a lot of the new stuff ain't moving. A lot of the older stuff is. A lot of the exclusive stuff is. But I think they're kind of in damage control now with what they can sell, and I feel bad for Hasbro because Disney's kind of telling them what they have to sell and what they have to do. So
it's weird. Even one of the things I was surprised is like you and I both love the GameStop exclusive Snoke with the throne.
mm-hmm.
I even saw that for a while sit on clearance at GameStops because it's weird because they said like, when it first came in, it was sold out consistently, and you and I both had to go hunting for it.
Yeah.
And then after a while, I guess they produced so many that people were just like, already, if you wanted it, you got it. If you didn't, it just sort of sat there. I will say some of them, I can't think of the name. Who's the guy? I'm so ashamed I can't think of him. He came with the probe droid. What's his name?
Tarkin?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tarkin, like that figure, I'll occasionally see in a Walmart, but he'll be swooped up like that.
Yeah.
But then some of your typical peg warmers that you'll see, I do think some people just like some of because they made so many Kylo Rens, people are like, oh, he's whiny, I don't need him. But then some of the other ones, like a Lando was hard to,
Yeah, he was hard to find.
And
I only saw him once.
And he's a fun figure. I like him a lot, but then there's other ones that people just don't care about.
Yeah.
And it's just which I understand.
Also, I forgot I think that Smuggler's Run 3-pack. I think that also includes Porgs. Porgs will be in it as well.
Yes, I need some more.
So,
I don't.
But you have to get that 3-pack, which is a Disney Store exclusive, or Disney Park, one of the two.
I do need to get some Porgs. The only thing it's just they're so tiny, and I just can't really justify anything more than $5 to $10. Even at $10, it's like that's still kind of pushing it.
Yeah. All right, on to Funko Pops now. They released a whole bunch of Endgame figures here. They have Thanos, a Hot Topic exclusive Captain America in his regular suit, Quantum Thor, Tony, Black Widow, Ant-Man, Nebula, a Ronin, a regular War Machine, Quantum Hulk and Thanos Barnes & Noble 2-pack, Mark 85 Iron Man Box Lunch exclusive, a Quantum Tony Stark only at Target, but his suit will be glow in the dark. They will also have a Quantum Rocket and Hawkeye, and also a full Ronin for Funko where he's hooded and he has a thing over his face. And they also will have regular War Machine and a 10-inch supersized Thanos. Hulk in his spacesuit, GameStop exclusive. Did you see look at those images on everything we've talked about today? Just look on our Facebook page, Talking Toys. Now, any of the Funko Pops interest you for Endgame?
No.
No. Well, okay.
But I do like that they're including them with shirts because I will say this is going to sound super weird. Funko makes some incredibly comfortable shirts. Sometimes they shrink a little.
Well, forget the Funkos, people. Get the shirts.
But their shirts are really, really comfortable. Because they used to do a lot of mystery boxes, subscription-based, which was cool and it was fun.
Mm-hmm.
And some of them were really fantastic. And they came with some unique things. And then now they just right now do a Marvel one, which is usually available through Amazon. And they do a Disney one, which is available through someone. I don't know if it's Amazon.
Yeah.
But they have not started back up their... I don't know about their Star Wars box yet. They might still do. I don't know. And they have not started up back up their DC box,
mm-hmm.
which is disappointing. But some of those mystery shirts I got from there are just really, really comfortable. Right now, the main lines I'm collecting through Funko are their Batman Imposters line,
yeah,
Gargoyles, because they're so far the only people doing Gargoyles figures.
And I know you're interested in the Sour Patch Kids.
Oh, you know it.
Or the breakfast cereal characters too.
And I love their mascots. Some of them I have a Twinkie the Kid. Yes, you heard that right. And
yeah.
It's wonderful. And then just random ones here and there, because they're continuing to like make further and further detail. You even have one because I got it for you. I got you a
Gollum, yeah.
Yeah, the
Invisible Gollum.
The Barnes and Nobles exclusive, which I love when they diversify their sculpts, like the Q figs.
Yeah.
From Quantum Mechanics, because then it is more exciting than just the normal stupid like, oh, I'm standing there with my arms by my side sculpt. But nothing really that I'm crazy about from that.
Okay, and on to Lego. They have new Endgame sets. They have a Hulkbuster War Machine set, a Quinjet set, Hall of Armor Tony Stark set, Captain America on motorbike fighting the aliens. It comes with alien figures and Cap. Avengers base, which has Thanos, the Hulk, and some of the other Avengers. Star Wars Rebel Blockade Runner, which will feature R2, Leia, 2 guards, and Senator Organa. A new Pod Racer set, which is hit stores now. It's kind of retro from the last 90s Pod Racer set, which feature Anakin, Padme, and like helper droid. Snow Speeder ship from the Hoth scene in Empire. You'll have a Luke minifigure and Hoth soldier. Clone Scout Walker with Trooper set. And Imperial drop ship with the Troopers. So that's got released out of Lego recently. Also, they had like a Homecoming Italy set with like the boat, and they had like minifigures of Mysterio and the villains and Molten Man. There'll also be a Molten Man set, which was kind of like a spoiler. It's just a full-sized big Molten Man and with some minifigures as well. So that's from Lego. On to our topic. Well, before I just cut Lego off, but did you see any Lego sets you were interested in?
Pod Racer would be cool.
Yeah, I do like I might get the Pod Racer.
And then before we get started, I have one more thing that I thought was really cool. For any of you anime fans, Rurouni Kenshin, there's a figure of him that's going to be released by a company called Dasen Model.
Mm-hmm.
They're based out of like China and Hong Kong. And he's going to come with 5 interchangeable hands, a stand, and 5 interchangeable heads, an interchangeable hairpiece, and his another katana with a thing that's holds the katana and real cloth. So
nice.
That I'm very, very excited about that. And I totally cut you off there, my friend. What
Legos?
What Legos are you interested in?
None of the Avengers ones really interested me, but I think the Star Wars ones I might get are the Pod Racer with Anakin and Padme. There's always I had my eye on for a while, classic X-wing and a classic TIE fighter, which I might get for my birthday, which I'm thinking about. Like, so what do I want? I mean, Legos are getting more expensive, and the thing with Star Wars Legos is that they always re-release them and re-release them. Like they have with the Slave One, like Boba Fett's ship, they've re-released and re-released constantly. So you have making it better, adding new characters and minifigures with it. So Legos always, even if you missed it one time, probably gonna get a re-release pretty soon. And that's what they did with like multiple Hogwarts sets and Harry Potter sets and Star Wars sets.
Shoot, knowing Lego with the Lord of the Rings Amazon set, you might even get some new Lord of the Rings ones for your collection.
Yeah, I will see.
I've been wanting to do some Lego because I love building the Gundam models.
Mm-hmm.
And building things is actually really good for cognitive brain function study show.
We will have to do a show on Lego one of these days.
Oh, yeah.
Because they're such a big company. You have to take the whole show to talk about them.
The Pod Racer thing, though, is...
that looks good. It's in stores now.
It's definitely something that's tempting. And if you guys ever get the opportunity, I know we especially you, my friend, were nerding out so hard at the Lego store in Beechwood, Ohio.
Yeah.
Is there another one, or is it Columbus? What is it, Beechwood and Columbus, I think, right?
Right around the Ohio area, yeah. There's like, it's weird because they're only in certain cities.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense because of the
higher end malls.
Yeah, like Beechwood is more of a they put on in Beechwood, which makes sense. Lego's cool, and obviously I enjoy. I know you enjoy Lego a lot, and I enjoy looking at your collection. But some of it is a bit expensive, so it makes sense why they would put it there compared to some like a Great Northern.
Right, exactly. All right, so on to our topic, and our topic today is taking care of your collection. And what makes a good toy store? So we'll start off with taking care of our collections, such as cleaning, maintaining your collection, display options, lighting, how you arrange your collection. Do you want me to go first, or do you want to go first?
I insist, my friend.
I insist. Okay, well, as you know, if you have such a large collection of Legos, action figures, or train sets, or whatever you collect, it usually gains dust, and it usually gains filth, and then you usually have to do it once or twice a year is clean your collection. Cleaning your collection is a huge monumental task when it comes to someone like me. I collect action figures, statues, and I also collect Legos, as well as I have books on the shelves and puzzles and stuff like that as well. So you probably would be asking yourself, how does someone with such a big collection clean their collection? Well, I do have certain tactics and ways where I'll share on the show what is helpful and what is not helpful, what's effective, what's not. Such as cleaning my collection, such as like Legos, I used to use a feather duster, but it didn't get everything.
That's interesting. I would have never thought about that.
Yeah, I mean,
Like a Swiffer duster, or
no, it's just like a not feather, but it was like a cotton wool duster, and
okay,
that worked
okay.
for a little while. That works for like surface stuff. However, though, it doesn't get in all the nooks and crannies like Legos and action. It works pretty well with figures, but however, you want to use like with Legos and maybe like a lot of figures that typewriting spray.
Oh yeah, like you can use it for like computers to get the dust out.
Right, dust off or whatever.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's a good idea. I've been meaning to get some, but I just keep forgetting.
yeah, you usually use that for Legos, which I recommend that for Legos because it just pushes the dust out of all the little nooks and crannies of the pieces where the pieces lock. So that's what I use mostly for my Legos. For my action figures, I usually use like a paper towel. Some of that microfiber cloth could work pretty well. You usually just have to dust it off, like just give it a once over. It looks brand new and stuff like that. If you have a figure that's really detailed and you can't get it everywhere just by like no matter what you use, running it over water, assuming it doesn't have like electronics or anything, using a toothbrush works. Running it over water works. If you're using water, you want to use something like a blow dryer, hair dryer, and also maybe like a towel, depending on what it is. So that's how I clean my stuff, such as Legos and action figures. I usually do it once or twice a year, once in spring. I got to do it again real soon, and once like in the winter. That's how often I clean my collection. How do you clean your collection? Do you clean your collection? I should ask.
One thing I do that I really enjoy, I should have brought it. I forget the brand, but I've enjoyed picking up these little like if you've ever worked in the food service industry, you know there's like wet wipes. Well, I picked up a smaller set that you could use for like detailing a car and whatnot.
Yeah,
And it's they're really fantastic, and I'll do it because like sometimes figures will come out of package with like some dust on them, and sometimes I'll clean off the figure there, and then sometimes I will do I'll wipe down the shelves. Swiffer duster, it works wonders. The only thing I don't use these things on is anything that has electronics in it
yeah,
or anything that has cloth because I'm superstitious and I don't want anything to deteriorate or
yeah.
short circuit. But I find that really good. Some figures, and then of course I'm wiping it down. I love a simple Swiffer duster. That's
I
really
should
fun
use
too.
that because I still use paper towels in the spray because I just have it around the house. But I should for surfaces. I get it. After you take the collection off your table and you have to like wipe down the surface, like the table or the shelf. I should use a Swiffer.
And
But I use paper towel and spray, which I forget to use a Swiffer.
I'm very anal retentive about it too because one of the things you want to do is sometimes I'll have like a side table, like a cardboard table, and you put it on there just because you don't want anything to actually get broken or whatnot. Because I don't collect that many statues. Like I have a few, but
Mhm.
there's like that Mystique anime style statue, the Bishojo
Mhm.
statue I showed you from Kotobukiya.
Mhm.
That one I have to be very careful because one of the ends of the Uzi
Yeah.
or Tech 9, I forget which one it was, is a little loose, so I don't want it to break off.
If you're doing something delicate, folks, with cleaning, use like a Swiffer, something very light, something that won't like break. I recommend a Swiffer where it kind of would attract the dust, and also maybe one of those air compressed air cleaners. But such as displaying options, let's move on to that real quick. How do you display your figures? What is it? I mean, we'll go into lighting too, and we'll mix these two because it's part of display. But how do you arrange your collection? What's your display options? What do you look at lighting wise? How do you set up your figures? Do you look for like tools or anything? Certain shelves, certain lights?
It depends. A lot of times I'll display my main things I enjoy collecting. I enjoy collecting Batman and Dragon Ball Z the most right now. So I'll have a shelf for like Dragon Ball Z, shelf for Batman, and then I also have a couple Marvel shelves. Like one of them is for like some of the higher end figures, like your Mezcos and your figure arts. I have a random anime. I'm in the process of setting up one for the Gundams that I enjoy because I love Gundams, Gundam figures, Gundam models. And then I even have a shelf that's Star Wars because I've cut back on a lot of Star Wars, but there's still some I really enjoy. Like I have some import figures. A side note, one of the most underrated figures is I have Disney Store exclusive toy box Yoda, which
Yeah.
that thing is phenomenal. We got when I was there, and then when we went to Disney Store. And then one thing I like to do within my collection is a lot of times I will put like the taller figures in the back.
Oh, okay.
And then I love stands. Like I love how Mezco includes every figure with a stand. But if you don't, let's say Mezco's a little out of your price range, companies like SH Figure Arts has stands, and then NECA has stands. SH Figure Arts stands, just make sure you look up that they are for the specific style of figure that you need, because they'll come 3 to a package and they're really nice. I want to say they're Act 9, but don't quote me on it, because they call it Acts for their inch sizes. The NECA is 1 per package, but those NECA stands are really good too. And I want to say DC Collectibles even came out with stands, but stands are really good for, like, if you have Iron Man figures, you can make them flying, and they're really good for posability. And I'm a huge fan of stands. And there's also these clear acrylic risers
Yeah.
on Amazon that are individual based that I've thought about getting some of those. What about you, my friend?
As you can see in my room, we'll probably do well, I'll tell you later, folks. But there's a special announcement coming at the end of the show. But more on that later. Well, for me, I usually look at how can I best display most of my figures. Now with Lego, it's pretty simple. Make sure you have an open space where it's big enough to show off the set. Or if it's like a theme set, have the Harry Potter theme sets together. Or if it's Star Wars, have the Star Wars theme set together. Make sure it's not only clean, but if open table, open shelving, stuff like that. Make sure there's a lot of space for everything you're trying to fit, because you'll run out of space quick with Legos. Now, if you're talking about just anything, I think with shelving, I try to go with light colored shelves, lighter colored shelves, like lighter wood, like maybe oakish kind of shelving. Not so much dark. A darker the shelf, then the more you'll have to use LED light. The more lighter colored the shelf is, whether it's a white shelf that's painted or if it's a shelf that's like oak or something that it's a very light wood, light will reflect that and you'll get more light inside that shelf. Now, however, with darker shelves, you'll have to have to use more light and more lighting and like LED lights and stuff like that. So if I'm choosing a shelf, I would like to choose a shelf that's a light colored as opposed to dark colored. As far as displaying my figures on a shelf, I use spice racks. You can get them from Target or Lowe's, and they're essentially risers, like you said, but they're used for like condiments and spices, and it's like a spice rack riser, and it looks like a kind of like a chorus, kind of like if a chorus was set up, and you'd see everybody on risers and stuff like that. So you see the figures behind some of, like, obviously, like I do what you do. I have the bigger figures in the back, and then I have the smaller figures up front. But with the risers, I could see everybody from behind. If they didn't have the risers like I had before, I don't get to see half my collection, which kind of stinks. In retrospect, with lighting, it's more along the lines of, can it fit? Does it give off enough light? Well, the folks at home can't see this, but Kyle, you can. Obviously, that they're button lights I used with, essentially what I have with my Legos is adhesive button lights where you stick at the bottom of one shelf, but obviously the top of another. So you just kind of stick it underneath where the collection is above it, and you just flip the switch, and you get these button lights. You also get them from either Lowe's or Target or something, or online. You could probably get them mostly online. So the button lights help. I have the LED strip lights for lighting. Those work really well. You have to plug those in.
Those are really cool. Yeah, they have the different colors.
Yeah, you could switch the colors. They also do like different waves of flashing, either slow or fast. That's what I use with lights. I recommend LED lights now, especially now because a lot of them are cheap and more affordable, smaller. Button lights are pretty easy because they just stick and you could just flip the switch and then you could display your collection that way. The adhesive strip of LED lights are really good too. That's what I do with lights. Other than that, that's how I light my collection. I just told you how I arrange it. I try to use the risers. I try to put bigger figures in the back. Lego sets, I just make sure I have enough space and put the ones in certain categories together. And yeah, that's pretty much how I arrange it. We might show you one of these days, folks, in a video. And also, on to our next topic: what makes a good toy store? I think we briefed upon this topic once more, but this will be our last topic to talk about for the day. What makes a good toy store? What I think makes a good toy store for me is it needs to have diversity in what it sells. If you're a toy shop or a comic shop, if you're a comic shop, I think you should have a good amount of graphic novels. I think you should have a good amount of figures. I think you should have a good amount of comic books. If that's obviously one of my favorite comic shops to go into is Carol and John's, because they really split that very well in diversifying their store. where they have like a kids section, they have a graphic novel section, and they have they have a Marvel and DC section and like Image section or Dark Horse, and then they have like a toy section. They have a lot of figures there.
And they diversify what they do. Like I love that they're always in the community holding events and stuff, and they brew their own nerd style beer for certain events.
Yeah.
It's plus they make, we'll have to show you guys eventually, but they make these beautiful, beautiful lithographs with local artists, which is super cool. I love people who give back to.
Yeah, they do that with Free Comic Book Day. Also, what I think makes it, if we're talking about strictly toys, what makes a good toy store is, do you have a good diversity of other brands that not the retail stores carry? Which, I mean, don't just have Mattel and Hasbro, but do you have Jurassic Park figures from them as well? Do you have Hot Toys? Do you have certain collectibles like Mezco? Mezco is really hard to find. It's a good example. Do you have some of the import companies?
A lot of stuff from Bandai is wonderful. And then like how Marcus at Ground Zero has lots of Hot Toys, lots of Sideshow.
Yeah, higher end collectibles and harder to find figures.
He has stuff for like Warhammer, which is a game, and Dungeons and Dragons and Magic the Gathering, stuff that you and I know practically nothing about, but it's still cool to see.
Yeah.
He has thousands of dollars of statues and stuff, and it's, another thing I love is the willingness to be like, I can order that for you.
Yeah, and also, you need fair pricing. Everybody likes that, and good stock and inventory. That's a no-brainer. And also, I think if I had to like say one of the number one top things that matters is good customer service. How you treat your customers. You're not ripping them off. You're not checking on eBay when you're asking about a price or something like that. It's very insulting when that happens. I've had that happen on a few accounts, or somebody following you through around the store because they think you're shoplifting. You're like, I'm just a customer. I'm just here to. I mean, if you have that fear, but you got to have a little bit of trust in your customers. I get it if you have to have security or you're concerned about something.
Right. You got to trust that the people that are shopping there more often than not are fellow nerds.
Yeah.
And we love the same stuff. So it's like, and especially like if you see the same person constantly coming back to your store or coming back periodically, like, it would behoove you to be like a little trusting.
Right, and I think also having events and sales help too, brings people in the store, shows you who you are. Being on social media helps. Just being like, you're just one of the nerds, you just own a store.
Right, that's why like the two we've listed so far, Ground Zero in Strongsville, Ohio, and Carolyn Johns, would you consider that Lakewood or Cleveland? We'll say Cam's Corner in Lakewood. It's like
Lakewood. I think it's Lakewood, Rocky River area.
Yeah.
It's very like right there.
Both of those are two of our favorites. They do really good things.
I also like your Toy Connection in Ravenna.
And
then very good, well stocked. Bill's Books and More in Canton.
And
very good. He has his own toy wing, which is nice. He has his own vintage comic wing. And he has his own, he also carries Hot Toys, and he also carries, shout out to Bill, and he also has older comics and newer comics. So I like that diversity, because I may be not in the mood to buy a toy today, and I might be in the mood to buy older comics, or I might be in the mood to get a higher end item.
Or even like Kid Force. One of the things I really like about Ground Zero in Strongsville and then Kid Force Collectibles in Berea is extended hours.
Yeah. That is important. I agree.
Because I might not, one of the things that's all, like, I understand having a life, but, like, if your comic shop closes at, like, 4 or 5 on, say, a Wednesday,
yeah,
I might not be able to get there because I might have prior obligations. But if you close at, like, 9 on a Wednesday, yeah, I can make it there. Or, like you said, with different events, like at Ground Zero, how I don't play any card games. I still collect graded cards of like Pokemon and stuff.
Yeah.
But it's fun that he does that, and then a lot of times they'll provide beer and stuff. And for those of you who are over the age of 21,
right. I like what you said about the hours thing, because there were times when I was working late, and I'd be working until like 9:30, and I'd want to go and salvage some of my Friday night. I'd be like, I want to go to a comic store and buy a figure because it was payday. And like Marcus was at Ground Zero was always open because, or you could go to Kid Force Collectibles and they'd always be open or they still, I mean, in some cases they'd be open till 10 or whatever, or you get off at 8 or something. You wanted to go to the comic shop.
Because there's only so much excitement you can get from like toy hunting at a Walmart,
Right. Well, it would stink because like I'd work either Friday night and then have to work the following Saturday when my Saturday shot. And it's like, well, I want to sum of my weekend for like an hour or two, and you could still go to these you could still go to these shops late at night and, chat with the guys and stuff like that. But yeah, I think, obviously hours matter, social media presence counts, having events, having sales, getting people in the door, being friendly, having great customer service. These are all things that make a great toy shop. I think diversity of product. You and me, we're gonna take a trip down to Mansfield. Toy Hunters, that's another.
They opened a year or two ago. They opened up a new location, so it's been a minute since we've been there. But nice guys, and they have a lot of variety.
Yeah, and they've expanded. They've moved their shop to a bigger location, and they're doing well. And
for our viewers not familiar with Ohio, you will know the name Mansfield because the Shawshank Redemption was filmed there.
Yes, the prison's there. Yeah.
As was Supernatural, a Lil Wayne music video, and
so
many other things at the world famous Mansfield Reformatory. Their shop is a gem.
Mm-hmm.
They have really quality product.
All right, that's what we think makes a great toy store. We kind of get delved into it. Just make sure to follow Talking Toys on Facebook, YouTube, and SoundCloud. We are on there. Make sure to like and subscribe. Also, thank you. We've been getting a little bit more popular to our fans. So thank you, everybody who are new subscribers and new viewers to Talking Toys. Welcome. We're going into year 2 now. It's our 1-year anniversary. Thank you to all the fans that have made it an awesome 1 year to listen to us, like us. Make sure to comment, like, and subscribe. Give us your feedback. What do you think about Star Wars? What do you think about Hot Toys? What are your favorite brands? What do you think makes a great toy shop? And what do you do to your collection that makes it interesting? Also, a big announcement. I did say there would be one at the end of the show. The big announcement at the end of this show is that we are going to be doing video shorts. You'll see us. I'll probably all imagine what we look like, but you'll see us finally, who we are, and we'll be doing these little video shorts called Talking Tips. Some of them will involve maintaining your collection, display options, lighting options, figure enhancements, like cheats like that, what you can do, how to adjust a figure or customize certain ones you may think that could be better. We'll be making little video shorts of that. How common they will be, we're not really quite sure yet. Every once in a while, every maybe couple months. Just kind of like these tips we want to give you. Maybe we'll do one in toy hunting and what to look for when you're toy hunting in these retail stores and these toy stores and stuff like that. So we'll be doing little video shorts on that. It'll be 5-minute videos like that. So we just wanted to say thanks everybody for listening, lending your ear to us and our feedback. So yeah, just look for our little videos coming out soon. I don't know exactly when, but they'll just pretty much how to benefit you, the toy collector, how to clean, maintain, tips, toy hunt, what tips you could do, maybe even to save money on toys. So this is episode 8 of Talking Toys. And make sure to like and subscribe on Facebook, YouTube, and SoundCloud. This is Brock Lauer signing off.
And Kyle Walters.
And make sure to always keep your collection clean.